on Newport Dreams between rivals in second. With Love at the rail, Morgan's Bluff outside of them, 3.5 off the lead. Then Kazamataz, True Patriot in the pink, and Church Lady is still at the back of the field. Down the back stretch, the target is Motet, heading toward the half-mile pole, 1.5 lengths over Newport Dreams second. Then With Love inching a little bit closer at the rail in third, and Morgan's Bluff is fourth. True Patriot, Kazamataz, and Church Lady is now inching up outside of that pair. She'll be 3 wide into the far turn, where Motet leads the way. It's Motet who's been there every step of the way, in fact. Has it by 2 lengths. With Love at the rail and Newport Dreams, stride for stride. Church Lady making headway fourth, now just 3 off them. And then it's True Patriot, Kazamataz, Morgan's Bluff. They're at the top of the stretch. Motet in front, Newport Dreams on the outside. With Love is in between them. With Love now taking second at the 8th pole. Church Lady is in fourth, coming toward the 16th pole, and it is Motet and With Love. With Love, Motet nose to nose. Newport Dreams outside of them. With Love takes the lead late, and With Love scores under a perfect ride from Giroux. Motet in a photo for second with Newport Dreams, another photo between Kazamataz and Church Lady. We're in the gate. And they're off. Quality Gold and Milbo Baggins are the first 2 out of the gate. Sunk Cost Fallacy is racing in third. Then Gilchrist and Hungover at the back, and now Hungover is moving up in between horses. They run toward the half-mile pole, and Milbo Baggins comes through on the inside of Quality Gold to take the lead. 1.5 lengths. Hungover is moving up willingly at the rail in third. Sunk Cost Fallacy is fourth, and in between horses now, having to tap on the brakes. 3 more to Gilchrist. 3 furlongs out, the favorite Milbo Baggins is in front by 1/2 length. Quality Gold second. Hungover needs racing room at the rail. Sunk Cost Fallacy still in at fourth, only 2 lengths off the lead. 5 clear of Gilchrist. They're at the top of the stretch. Milbo Baggins on the inside. Quality Gold, Hungover trying to come through inside. Milbo Baggins not too comfortable. And Sunk Cost Fallacy is just behind horses. He's had a rough trip. Can he get out late? 16th pole. Milbo Baggins just in front. Quality Gold on the outside and Hungover at the rail. Milbo Baggins keeps on going. Milbo Baggins. DeSormo got him home. Hungover in a photo for second with Quality Gold and Sunk Cost Fallacy. Up next, the third. No changes in upcoming race 3. We're in the gate. And they're off. Isa Court sprints out of the gate. At the rail, She's Splendid. Corporal Violet is in the mix too, as is Chai, and Sakura Flavor will settle in between horses, racing 5th through the early stages. Crossana is next. 3 deep is Dea Matrona. And Cameron Slough is at the back of the field. Very wide for Chai into this first turn. But Chai is up to battle for the lead with Corporal Violet on the inside second. 2 more. Isa Court settles in a good spot third. She's Splendid is fourth. 4 lengths off the lead. Then Sakura Flavor, Dea Matrona, 3 deep, 2 clear of Crossana and Cameron Slough. Corporal Violet and Chai going at it on the front end. 2 more lengths back to Isa Court in the purple colors third. Then She's Splendid with a half mile to go, taking fourth. Just behind her, Crossana is trying to make some headway, looking for a spot to run is Crossana. Dea Matrona is widest of all. Sakura Flavor is in that group too, and Cameron Slough has trailed throughout. Rounding the far turn, Corporal Violet gets away from Chai. Isocord in third, followed at the rail by She's Splendid in fourth. They're at the top of the stretch, and Corporal Violet turns for home with a big lead. It's suddenly 4 lengths. Isocord set down, trying to close the gap, and She's Splendid down at the rail. From the back of the field, Cameron Slough coming alive late, and in a nice way, too. Down on the inside, it's Crossana, but Corporal Violet just ran them off their feet. Corporal Violet and Armando Aguilar easily. Second went to Cameron Slough, and then it's a photo among Crossana, She's Splendid, and Isocord. And they're off. Unwritten Code is very fast away from the gate. Ryan's Girl up close too. Here's Ufta. And Ufta rushes up on the inside to engage Unwritten Code. 3 lengths back to Ryan's Girl in third. They're followed by Tiergarten moving through on the inside to take fourth. Rousing Jewel and Auditory. It's the favorite Ufta into the far turn, opening up a 2-length advantage on Unwritten Code second. Then comes Tiergarten hugging the rail in third, and Ryan's Girl fourth as Ufta has sped 5 lengths clear. The 2 trailers, Rousing Jewel, Auditory is next. Ufta well clear, expanding that lead to 8 lengths as Auditory now starts to roll on the far outside, but with a ton of ground to make up on Ufta, who's clear by 7. Ryan's Girl in second. They are followed by Auditory on the outside, continuing to make headway. Ufta drifts to the center of the racetrack. Ryan's Girl closing the gap late. Ufta, Ryan's Girl coming. Ufta will get there in front-running fashion. Ryan's Girl a solid second, Auditory third, Rousing Jewel fourth. Elite pick 5 and All Turf pick 3. And they're off. Even start. Seen by Me was out very nicely and goes straight to the front. Just to Graze has some speed too. And Curlin Command is racing in between them. Beer Buzz has some foot and moves up now to be part of the second group. Then it's Otto's Magic, close up in fifth, just 3 lengths off the lead, 2 clear of Danzig Wildcat. Big Bill is next with less than a half mile to travel. He's on horse's heels. The 2 trailers, Little Raymond, and He's a Gangster at the back of the field. Seen by Me takes them into the far turn. Pressed mildly by Curlin Command in second. Beer Buzz under pressure, 3 deep in third. Down at the rail, Otto's Magic, just to Graze at the orange sleeves is making some headway. As they reach the top of the stretch, dancing Wildcats between those 2. It's Seen by Me who turns for home with a 2-length lead. Curlin Command trying to get by him in second. On the outside, just to Graze and dancing Wildcats coming through on the fence. 16th pole, Jaramillo asking Seen by Me to finish the job. Here's Big Bill flying late but out of time. Seen by Me, sharp in victory. Photo between Curlin Command and a hard-charging Big Bill. Just to Graze was fourth. And they're off. Bluegrass Go-Go is very quick out of there. Here's Binging coming, trying to challenge in second. The rest of them fan across the track. led by Y'all Come, who's now clearly into third. They are followed by Billy Joe Shaver, Cupid's Crusader, then Bet the Ohm, and teeing off is 6 lengths off front-running Bluegrass Go-Go, who takes him into the far turn, leading 3/4 of a length over Binging. Y'all Come under pressure in third. Billy Joe Shaver is the 4 wide gray, moving up and taking the third spot. It's 4 more. Cupid's Crusader has lost significant ground. He's followed by Bet the Ohm and teeing off. They're 1/4 mile from home, and Binging makes his move for the lead. And Binging takes that lead at the rail. Bluegrass Go-Go not done. He came right back. Bluegrass Go-Go and Binging are head and head with a furlong left to go. They are followed by Billy Joe Shaver. Y'all Come. Widest of all is Cupid's Crusader. Driving finish. Binging. Bluegrass Go-Go. Binging's just in front. And Binging got there. Bluegrass Go-Go was second. Cupid's Crusader finished third in front of Billy Joe Shaver. And they're off in the Buena Vista. Thought Process is very alert out of there. Grand Slam Smile with natural speed comes to tackle early, and Princesa Moche has no lack of early foot either, and she's right there on the paces. Berrios takes a strong hold of Thought Process down at the rail. Behind them, it's Vibes on the inside of My Perfect Wave, and 4 back to Watchtower. Around the first turn, and it's Grand Slam Smile who will dictate terms in hand, opening up 2 lengths as they swing onto the backstretch. Princesa Moche in second. Thought Process is a comfortable third down on the inside. They are followed by My Perfect Wave with 4 lengths to make up. Vibes inside of her, and a gap of 4 to Watchtower. Heading to the half-mile pole, Grand Slam Smile, trying to stretch that speed once again. Leads it by 2 over Princesa Moche. Thought Process, orange colors on the inside, third. Then My Perfect Wave, joined by Vibes, and Watchtower is at the back, but only 6 lengths from front to back as Grand Slam Smile takes him into the far turn. But here comes the big challenge as Thought Process and Vibes also starting to roll. My Perfect Wave, Princesa Moche has dropped back there at the top of the stretch, and Thought Process with a powerful bid for the lead. Vibes on the outside of Grand Slam Smile, then My Perfect Wave, 16th pole, and Thought Process strutting her stuff through the lane. It's all Thought Process in the Buena Vista. Vibes outfinishes Grand Slam Smile. My Perfect Wave a distant fourth. Unfavorite, Dakota's Shadow. We're in the gate, and they're off. Dakota's Shadow and Little Tinker L are vying for the early lead. Just in behind them, Victoria's Jewel takes third. Darlin Sugary along the inside, fourth. Tammy Baby fifth, but just 4 off the lead. 2 clear of Crunchy. Pride of Queens is second to last. And One Time Gal is already 15 lengths off Little Tinkerell. Little Tinkerell passes the half-mile pole in front, 3/4 of a length. Down at the rail, Darlin Sugary, and in between them, Victoria's Jewel. Victoria's Jewel now looking for the lead. In the meantime, Dakota's Shadow, 3 wide, a length off the pace. Tammy Baby is by herself, angling out with the white blinkers, 6 clear of Crunchy. Pride of Queens inching up inside of her, in One Time Gal. 1/4 mile to go. On the outside, Dakota's Shadow comes trying to vie for the lead and takes it away from the embattled leaders. Darlin Sugary is now in between horses. Tammy Baby finishing nicely. And on the outside, here comes Pride of Queens. And Pride of Queens gobbling up ground on Dakota's Shadow. Dakota's Shadow is home, though. And Dakota's Shadow and Diego Herrera convincing perfect trip winners over a hard charging Pride of Queens. Behind them, Tammy Baby third. Fourth was among one-time gal crunching named Darlin' Sugary. In the ninth, scratch one, Novita Dominga, and six, Bailarina. 25 minutes to pose. And they're off. Very slow beginning for the favorite, Narita. It is a close, nice battle for the early lead between Red Cherry and Kinsley's Charisma, with Soul Sister coming away in third. Shahar is close enough in fourth, trying to tuck in, but that's not easy, with Soul Sister right in front of her. In the meantime, Larios kicks through along the inside. The two trailers at the back of the field are Money Reigns and Narita. Is 10 lengths off front running Red Cherry, who takes him onto the backstretch, a length and a half in front of Kinsley's Charisma. Then it's another 2 lengths back to Soul Sister in third. At the rail, Larios getting a good trip, fourth, inching forward, a length and a half to Shahar. Then it's 5 back to Narita, who's out of last, leaving Money Reigns at the back with less than a half mile to travel. And Red Cherry left alone on the front end. Kinsley's Charisma second. Larios on the inside third. Then comes Soul Sister in fourth. Shahar is down at the rail, looking for a spot to run, on hold currently. Shahar has a bit of run there with the green cap, as does Narita, who's starting to get moving now. Narita's going to be caught wide. She'd have to be much the best to win with the slow start and wide trip there at the top of the lane. And it's Red Cherry still there by 2 lengths. Shahar is finding a spot in between horses. Kinsley's Charisma out in the center of the course. Narita, 16th pole, and Red Cherry full of run. And Red Cherry clear. Shahar between horses, closing along with Soul Sister. A dominant win for Red Cherry under Armando Ayuso, galloping home. Tight photo, either Shahar or Soul Sister. Behind them, it was Kinsley's Charisma, and the super high five completed by either Money Reigns or Narita.
For our Sunday sermon today, we are graced by one of the hottest handicappers anywhere in Southern California, much less nationwide. That's because he is the agent for Amici Jaramillo, his name, Tom Knust. Tom, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Tom.
It's great to have you here. Now, Amici Jaramillo, it's easier to call him just the Missile, right? That's Doug O'Neill's nickname for him.
Doug nicknamed him the Missile, and it makes it easy. Missile.
It makes it easy for us gringos. And more importantly, he's been a missile so far here in Southern California. Yeah. He's tied for leading rider in the jockey standings with Juan Hernandez. You each have 27 wins. What's the secret to your success, Tom?
Well, what helped us a little bit is JJ getting 3 days suspension.
Of course.
And we picked up at least two of his winners. It would have been his. So, but I'll take it. But
how did you and Amici actually get together? Where did it all begin?
Well, down at Del Mar, my jockey Antonio Fasu is a great jockey, good person, and a good friend. He wanted to make a change. He had a chance to get Ron Anderson, who just lost his
Frankie Dettori,
who just retired, and Antonio is good friends with Dettori. So I think he convinced him that it'd be a good chance for him to get more exposure around the country, back east, and everything. So I could see him trying it. So then it meant I have to find somebody. So Jack Sisterson's a good friend of mine and Doug's.
You used to work with Doug.
Exactly. And Doug asked him who would work out here in California at Gulfstream. And he mentioned, without any hesitation, he went ahead and mentioned Amici. So Doug called him and said, would you like to come out here? He said, I'd ride you. My friend Tom Knust, my good friend Tom Knust, is looking for a rider. And I think he'd do a good job for you. And he said he'd always dreamt about coming to California. He always wanted to come to California. So he says, he told me when Doug asked him, he said he didn't hesitate. And he brought his wife and his son. His son's like 23 years old. He's Amici also.
He's not a jockey, is he?
No, but he's a bright kid. I think he wants to be a jock's agent.
Okay.
So I might watch
more competition for you.
Yeah, but he's really smart and a good kid. So he'll make a great jock agent. He really will.
Tom, what I think most handicappers have found out quickly here around the country when Amici came to Southern California is he's a speed type of rider. That's not to say he can't win from off the pace, but he gets his horses involved early in the race, which is really our style of riding.
Well, he reminds me a lot of Pat Valenzuela, who I used to have like 4 different times. And Pat could win on the front end, come from off of it, anything. He changed the race when he was in it.
Of course.
And I think that's with Amici. He goes ahead and he rides the race to how it shapes up. And he can go ahead and put a horse on the lead. He can come from off of it. And he can run turf and dirt. I mean, this whole week, I think he won a couple of races on the dirt on the front end, a couple coming from off of it. He won a couple on the grass on the front end, a couple coming from off it. So he's very versatile when it comes to that.
Speaking of his versatility, Tom, let's take a look at one of his stakes wins. It was a border runner by the name of Mondego on Valentine's Day. We're just going to watch the stretch run. Listen to Frank Miramati describe the action. Mondego will be wearing saddlecloth number 5.
They are at the top of the stretch with several chances to win. Stay hot in between flashiest. Here's Mondego's had a good trip, trying to take advantage in the final 16th, and he's eating up the ground. A late run from Truly Quality, who's coming quickly. Mondego hits the front close to home, and Mondego has won the San Marcos.
Tom, that was a turf race around 2 turns, and we saw the versatility of Amici. Certainly had the horse in the right position, I believe, for trainer Michael McCarthy that afternoon.
Yeah, I think anytime you ride for Michael McCarthy, it gives you a leg up, and his horses are fit. They're all, they're ready to run, and that helps. That helps a lot.
I mentioned, Tom, that he has 27 wins up to this point in his meeting. Here's the statistics. He's won 13 on the main track. He's 13 for 53 as of last night. That's a 25% win percentage on the main track, and he's equally adept at the turf course as well. He's 14 for 78. That equates to an 18% win percentage. So like you said, it really doesn't matter short, long, turf, or dirt. He's very adaptable.
Well, you remember he's won 5,000 races in his career. When he was in Venezuela, they have like the Triple Crown. It's like our Triple Crown. He's won it 3 times. When he went to Florida, he moved into Florida about 10 years ago. Last 8, 9 years, he's been in the top 3, every year and one of the leading riders there. So he definitely is, he definitely knows what he's doing. And I don't think it matters dirt or grass. He can ride it.
And speaking of the dirt course, on Friday, I always tell people you never know what might happen on a sleepy Friday afternoon. And certainly on Friday, this past Friday, you were able to knock down the doors in Bob Baffert's barn and get aboard a runner by by the name of Cherokee Nation. You might or might not know, Tom, he ran a 100 buyer speed figure this past Friday afternoon for Mr. Baffert. That's the second highest buyer that any 3-year-old has run, either as a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. So already he's kind of stamped himself as a serious Kentucky Derby contender. I think Bob was on record after the race or shortly thereafter that he's planning to run Cherokee Nation in the Santa Anita Derby. Do you have, what did you think of the horse's performance? I guess is my question.
3 things. 1, it was great performance. Number 2, any horse in Bob Baffert's barn can run like that. They have the potential. Number 3, I think we were lucky to pick it up when JJ wasn't here and he had days. So it wouldn't surprise me if he put JJ back on him. We would love to ride him. I know he has other 3-year-olds that,
Sure.
hopefully maybe JJ will ride instead of this one. But whatever, we were happy to ride it, and appreciative of Bob putting us on the horse.
And you mentioned Doug O'Neill was the biggest supporter early on, but now, of course, other trainers are standing in line looking to get your riding services. That must be a good feeling both for you and the Missile, because now suddenly not only are you just a newcomer, but you're a newcomer in high demand.
Well, I think Tom, because you've been around a long time, you need to get a jump start when you come to California. If you don't have a stable to ride for, there's a lot of people like that Caesar Belmont riding in that first race. Very good rider,
Sure.
very capable. But if you don't have a barn you're riding for, you're just not going to get that jump start and then get noticed and stuff. So we have a lot of good riders out here. A lot of good riders have come here, but I've been very fortunate to be good friends with Doug, and Doug gave us that opportunity. And having that opportunity, you still have to be able to do the job. But once you win a few races, then other people start using you, and it's a domino effect.
And Doug's a good salesman because he had to sell the owners as well, right? I mean, Doug might want to ride the horse, but if the owners say, hey, wait a minute, he's got to convince them as well.
Well, it's true. And he's had some owners that say, don't push this kid us on. You know, we don't know this guy or anything. So it's all right. But now when he's now on top of the standings, it makes it easier for Doug to push us.
I'll test your memory, Tom. You mentioned Patrick Valenzuela as one of your many riders in the past few decades. Who are some of the other riders you've represented? Comes to mind maybe Victor Espinoza, Antonio Fresu, Mario Gutierrez. Yeah. You've had
well, I had Kent DeSormo. I had Richard Migliori when he came out here. I had John Court. Yeah, so I'm Kevin Krieger. It was great. We won the Santa Anita Derby, was able to go back and ride in the Kentucky Derby. So, yeah. So, but in this game, you learn you don't be married to them because something can happen and all of a sudden they want to make a change, and that's their right. You don't have a contract and you work hard as you can, you get paid, and it's like riding a horse. You get paid for that time you ride them. Doesn't mean you're going to ride them back.
Did you think Mig would ever turn out to be a TV analyst when you were working for him? Did he have the gift to gab?
100%. I used to go to Hollywood Park with them and drive when we were working horses over there, and he'd tell me, you don't have to come with me. I said, I want to come with you because I want to hear your stories.
Sure.
And he had a lot of stories. Yeah. So he was a natural. There was no doubt in my mind he'd do a great job as an announcer.
Tom Knust is going to have more stories for us. Specifically, he's going to tell us who he likes on today's 9-race card. His jock, the Missile, Mr. Jaramillo, rides 7 of the 9 races. So we're going to try and get some inside information. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on a beautiful Sunday here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast and the turf is firm. Here are the early changes on today's program. No changes in the first, start of the early pick 5. Ricky Gonzalez has been excused from his mounts today to hang out with his wife. And in the second race, just the blinker note and the jockey change for 4 Fortune and Truth, Tyler Bays. Race 3, no changes. The Fort starts the $2 pick 6, scratch number 1. Glory Sunday, overweight 6, grazing together, 3 pounds overweight. Turning to the 5th, late pick 5, all turf pick 3 wagering offered, no program changes. The 6, scratch 4, Miss Hot and Cold. Note that 6, Tupelo, the jockey is Tiago Barrera. The 7th starts the late pick 3. Just that blinker note. 8th kicks off the late double, scratch 6, back on track. And in race number 9, scratch number 3, Knight to King. And that just came in, so sorry for the lateness on that. Back on track, just came in seconds ago. 9th race, scratch 3, Knight to King, and scratch 4 coming in a little hot. Super high five wagering continues despite the 2 scratches. Coast to Coast pick 5. Offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll get that chance today. It'll start with Gulfstream's 8th at 12:53, about an hour and 20 minutes away. Enjoy your day at the great race place. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Tom Knust.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Tom Knust. He's the jockey agent for Amici Jaramillo. He's tied for leading jockey here at the meet with 27 wins in conjunction with Juan Hernandez, who, as you heard Tom say, is currently suspended. We will not see him other than in listed stakes races. Tom, let's begin today's seminar looking at race number 1 because you're a very busy man today. Amici rides 7 of the 9 races, including race 1, which is 1 mile of the turf course. Race 1 also begins the 50-cent early pick 5. The turf rails today are at 30 feet. This race is for 3-year-old fillies, starter optional claiming types. Amici rides number 5, Bears Board. The current betting choice at 4-5 is the filly down on the bottom from the Michael McCarthy barn. Bears Board last time out, Tom, actually beat the boys while adding Lasix. Now Doug O'Neill tries turf for the first time. What kind of went in? What went into that type of thinking, putting her on the turf for the first time?
Well, I think it's just the opportunity to running someplace because there's not a lot of opportunities. And so I just thought because he's eligible for the starter allowance and for the that class of race, and it's just not that many races for your horse. So I think he put in there just hoping that the horse can do well. He's got that owner, Donald Disney, has a lot of horses with him.
Sure does.
And he wants to run them. And I actually like the horse. A disclaimer, I'm going to pick all my horses on top today, but I think they all have a shot, and I think he'll be a good price too. I think he's 10-1 right now, so nothing bad about betting across the board on the horse.
Bears Board has had a number of workouts. I'm not going to show them for the purpose of the seminar, but I did watch them. And it looks like she's got a whole lot of early gas. You can see that in her afternoon performances. Has Amici been on board her in any of these morning workouts since her last race?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. A lot of horses. Doug asked me to work a horse, and I just work it. I don't ask him who it is. In fact, most everybody that I work horses for, I never ask them. So,
but Amici is working horses in the morning on a regular basis.
We'll work maybe 5-6 horses for him, a week. So we can
see on the graphic you give a little love to the original morning line favorite, or the second choice, I should say, number 2, Famous Forza, who's 3-1 on the board right now, going from sprint to route. And it's interesting, Tom. You handicap every race, obviously, and you watch the afternoon results. Early speed, particularly yesterday, did very well, and we had at least 1, maybe 2 stretch out winners going from a sprint to a route on the turf course. Is that one of the reasons why you like Famous Forza? Well,
the other thing too, though, is that it's funny because usually Friday's good for speed horses because the rail's at 20 feet. But yesterday the rail was at 0 and it seemed speed held up pretty good. But I really like Bill McLean. I think he's an underrated trainer. He does really good. He was from up north. And again, I think Caesar Belmont can ride. He just doesn't have a lot of big stables he rides for, but he does have a lot of ability. So I think that horse has a big shot.
And one of my favorite handicapping angles is Famous Forza, who we've been talking about in race 1, re-adds Lasix. You can see 2 races back, she added Lasix. She hit the winner's circle. She'll try and go 2 for 2 using Lasix today in race number 1. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're still going 1 mile. This time, except it's on the main track. It's for maiden special weight, 3-year-old fillies, a field of 6. Make the jockey on number 4, Fortunate Truth, Tyler Bays. You ride a first-time starter here for trainer Michael McCarthy, Tom, runner by the name of Mass. 3-1 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, I wanted to show a workout for Mass, courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com. This was a team drill breaking out of the gate. Mass is going to break from the inside gate. And when we watch this workout, you can see she shows a lot of early speed. Her sire is not this time, who is one of the most red hot sires anywhere in the, anywhere in the world right now. And Mr. McCarthy, the last time he started a horse 2 turns on the dirt course, he actually wound up winning. It was a runner down at Del Mar on November 14th. So certainly Michael McCarthy knows what to do with first-time starters going 2 turns. That's not an easy task, but based upon this workout, Tom, I think she's going to show some speed. What information, if any, do you have about Mass in race 2?
Well, Missy L told me after he worked this, he said this is a really good filly and really would like to ride it. And I had talked to Michael, and Michael said sure. So he really liked the work. He likes the filly. So I think she could run big today. I know she's fit. I know she's ready, and I like her.
Yeah, Michael had to stop her in mid-July and then resume training in mid-December, as you can see in the workout lines. But you put Mass on top, but you also like the runner that now Tyler Bays rides, number 4, Fortunate Truth, from the Dan Blacker barn. We know that was a good race last time out of Del Mar, Tom, because the winner came back to win the Grade 2 Starlet at Los Alamitos. There's actually been 3 next out winners. Fortunate Truth also adds Lasix. You like her as well.
I do, and I can't believe Ricky took off today just because his wife's having a baby. I mean, come on, we're racing.
What's Brandon O'Brien thinking when Mario Gutierrez's wife had a baby?
I went ahead and watched her right before she had the baby.
You were in the hospital and Mario was riding.
He was at Los Alamitos riding, yeah. So
come on, Brandon, get your act together.
Well, she could have the baby on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Doesn't she know better than that? So yeah, but we wish them the best of luck, and she's such a good girl and stuff. But yeah, I think that horse has a big shot, and Dan does a good job on it, and I love Tyler Bays. I think Tyler Bays can really ride, so I think that horse will be tough.
And all kidding aside, best wishes to both Jessica Pfeiffer and her husband Ricky Gonzalez on hopefully the birth of their child. Jessica's in labor right now, which is why Ricky took off for the afternoon. So best wishes to mom, dad, and a healthy baby as well. Race number 3, we're sprinting 6 furlongs at the turf course. This is for 3-year-old Caldbreds. Allows optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than a field of 6. Number 3, Makers and Son, is a first-time Gelly, the Moyer Line favorite from the Doug O'Neill barn, who you don't ride, Tom. What the heck? Number 5, Thirsty Rebel, Abel Lascano in the saddle. Did Ryan Glad beat you out for this call?
Well, actually, Abel won on the horse, so I didn't have really much chance to get back on it.
It's a race-by-race contract.
I know. Tell me about it. But yeah, again, there's another good rider, Abel, and he fits that horse really well. I like the 2 also. I like that horse. I like Ryan Hansen and Adrian. I mean, they do a good job as a team. He works a lot of horses for him, and I think that horse has a big shot. So I almost would see the 1 beating the 5, but I put the 5 on top with the 1 being right there.
1-5-5-1 in race number 3. Before we take a look at race number 4, Tom, we've been having a lot of fun, but unfortunately, one of your good friends passed away, and the service for him was this past Tuesday down in San Diego County. It was obviously the trainer John Sheriffs who passed away. You were very close with John. You were both veterans as well. You had a close relationship with him. Tell us maybe a story or 2 that we don't know about John that kind of shows his true personality.
Well, John he's kind of quiet, at times, but he had a good sense of humor, kind of dry sense of humor. But we both were in Vietnam about the same time. He lasted a lot longer than I did. But yeah, John was a very good horseman. I think he'd probably been happier if he was on a farm. He loved training horse. He loves that part of it. The racing part of it, I didn't think he enjoyed as much as
he never went in the winner's circle.
No, but he just loved training horses.
Sure.
He loved the mornings. Like I said, he loved the mornings more than the afternoon. So John loved the sport, did a great job, was dedicated to it, never missed any days. And
the job he did with Zenyatta just speaks for itself. I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame off that 1 horse's performance.
Yeah, I don't think they let Zenyatta run today. Zenyatta had a lot of issues, but he worked through them. He took his time with her when he had to, and when she needed, some time off, he gave her the time off. He didn't push her on her works and stuff. He let her just do what she wanted. Did an excellent job training her, and I think in anybody else's barn, she might not have made it.
his presence will be missed. That's certainly
That's
true,
for sure.
particularly in the mornings.
Yeah.
Race number 4 begins the $2 pick 6. We start with a fresh slate, and we kick things off in race 4, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Maiden claiming Calbred 3-year-olds in for a $20,000 tag. Scratch the 1 leaves us with a field of 6. Number 2, Tiger Whitworth is the 7-5 Maury Lane favorite. One of 2 races you don't ride today, Tom, but still give us a winner if you can.
Well, I'm going to try to beat the 2 only because the 3 beat the 2 last time. So I don't know why it couldn't beat it again. And I think the 3 was the first time starter.
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you got Victor Espinoza, Hall of Fame jockey. So that gives you a little bit of an edge. Naps does a really good job. He wins a lot of races, but I just think that the 3 would have a shot to upset it.
Have you and Steve Knapp hooked up at all with the ECL? I know that you used to ride for Steve quite a bit. Is that relationship still going strong?
Yeah, we haven't had any luck with him. He keeps bringing that up to me, but eventually we will. And I've got some good live horses coming up with Steve, so I think we'll be okay.
You make a good point, Tom. I mean, you can do a lot of hard work, and of course, ECL is trying very hard each and every race and working horses out in the morning. But at the end of the day, just like horse players, you need luck, right? There's racing luck involved.
100%. You know, there's not a lot of difference between a lot of trainers here and a lot of difference between a lot of the horses and jockeys. So you need a little bit of racing luck. And when it goes right for you, it goes right for you. Other times you can go in a streak. And I mean, look at Asmussen when he was out here riding.
Sure.
He was 102-0. And he was one of the best riders in the country. So.
Steve Cawthon comes to mind.
I meant
Russell
Steve
Bays.
I meant Steve Cawthon.
Steve Cawthon, Russell Bays.
Yeah.
There were a number of different riders who tried to move their tack here on Jose Santos.
Yeah.
Another rider just didn't get off to that good start like you mentioned, and then they just spiraled downward.
You do need a little bit of luck. That's for sure.
Sure. Let's take a look at race number 5, Tom, because you do ride this race. Race number 5 is 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course. It's a starter optional claiming race. Race 5 also begins the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We've got a field of 8. Take note, number 8, I'm out of here is a first-time gelding. The morning line favorite at 9-5 is number 6, A Day to Remember. You ride the second choice, Tom, number 4, Proudly Hailed from the Doug O'Neill barn. Before we get your thoughts on the race, I wanted to show the replay of Proudly Hailed's last effort. Unfortunately, he has missed by a neck and a nose the last 2 times that he's ran. He's due to pick up a victory, and last time out, he had a legitimate excuse, sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the flat turf course. This race was back on February 6th. He's going to be wearing saddlecloth number 4. You're going to notice when we watch this replay at the beginning, he gets severely squeezed at the start and drops back to last. He puts in a ferocious late run to just miss by a neck. Hopefully today he'll have better racing luck, but let's watch the replay back on February 6th. Watch the runner wearing saddlecloth number 4 who will be proudly hailed, and listen to Frank Miramati describe the action.
American Glory. Here's Spearfish in the middle, and Tessuto is flashing that early speed too. Here comes Vancouver along the rail. So it's now Vancouver just in front, pressed by Tessuto. Those 2 stride for stride. 3 lengths back to Spearfish and American Glory. That pair followed by Enter the Dragon, and Proudly Hailed is at the back, 7 lengths off Vancouver, who takes him past a half-mile pole, pursued by Tessuto, keeping him honest in second. Another 4 back to Spearfish third. Then American Glory, Enter the Dragon, 6 off the lead, and Proudly Hailed. Rounding the far turn, it's Vancouver, still pestered by Tessuto. These 2 coming to the quarter pole, 1-2. 3 lengths back, Spearfish in third, joined now by Proudly Hailed, and Proudly Hailed takes third, coming after the leader Vancouver at the top of the stretch, who has shrugged off Tessuto and has a 3-length lead. Spearfish, and on the outside, Proudly Hailed keeps on coming. 16th pole, Vancouver all out. Spearfish, Proudly Hailed, and down on the inside, here comes Enter the Dragon. Here it is, photo, Enter the Dragon.
Tom, we just talked about racing luck, and there was a classic example of it. Unfortunately, you missed the break. You got beat by a Phil D'Amato closer right on the wire, but you certainly probably should have been unsaddled that day. What's Proudly Hailed been doing since that effort on February 6th?
Well, couple things. Number one, especially, and that I don't think he really missed the break. It was he got
squeezed.
cut off,
Yeah.
and things. So, but that was a non-winners of 3. This is a non-winners of 2 race. If you look at the non-winners of 2 race that we ran second in last time, he had just as much trouble in that race also. So Jack Sisterson was a trainer, and the horse was for sale, and Doug had this one owner that looking to buy horses.
Adam Kluger.
Yeah, and they went ahead and bought the horse. And I mean, this is one, forget the disclaimer, this is the one I have on top, and definitely should be on top. He's really a nice horse. Should have won, like I said, the last 2 races. The last race was a condition above himself. So I would use him as a single in all my exotics.
And you give a little love to the morning line favorite, number 6, A Day to Remember. You can look right in the daily racing form. We all know Mark Latt does so well off the long layoff as well as second off the layoff. Right now he's hitting at a 22% win clip second off the layoff. There's that guy Abel Lescano in that same, basically that same race back on January 24th that you were referring to, 2 back for Proudly Hailed.
Yeah, and any horses that Mark Latt runs, you got to take him seriously because he's just a great trainer. And this horse will run big, and hopefully I'll have racing luck and be able to beat him again. But if I don't have racing luck, then we'll be in trouble.
Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Maiden Claiming Fillies and Mirrors in for a $20,000 tag. Scratch the 4, Miss Hot and Cold. Number 6, Tupelo, now being ridden by Tiago Pereira. You ride number 7, Stubborn, for trainer Michael McCarthy. Tom, dropping from maiden 50 into maiden 20. What say you about race number 6?
Well, that's another one of those things. It's the drop that's going to give you some confidence in the horse. I know he hasn't done too much running in higher class, but I think at a maiden 20, any of Michael McCarthy horses are going to be tough. So I like him here. I think we might have we can get a little price on him. It'll be good. I think he has to outrun the 8 horse. Again, he's dropping also, and he ran well as running for maiden 50. Might have been able to run a little bit better than my horse. So I think that horse will be tough. So hopefully Stubborn can win it. And if he doesn't, I think the 8 will.
Number 8 is named Elsa Dutton, and both Elsa Dutton and Stubborn, Tom's top 2 selections in race number 6. Exit maiden claiming races, but both of those races, the races on January 16th, that Stubborn exits, and the race on June 7th, that Elsa Dutton exits, both were won by maiden special weight droppers. So I have a feeling they were better than the typical maiden 50, which complements their chances perhaps today. Tom, before we take a look at race number 7, I know at least when Hollywood Park was running, I would often walk through the card room, either on my way into or on my way out of the racetrack, and I'd see you in the card room playing a few cards. Do you still shuffle up and deal maybe on a regular basis?
Must been somebody that looked like me. I don't gamble.
I know.
I just think no. I still play.
Are there any house games going on that I need to know about? I know Vladimir Surin likes to play.
No, well, Peter Ert and I go once a week whenever he's in town, and we used to play a tournament at Hollywood Park at the new casino there.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, and buy-in's like $150, so you can't get hurt, and it's fun. And we spend a few hours doing that.
Is Peter a card shark? Is he?
Peter's pretty good. He's very conservative, but he's very smart. He does a good job. Not as good as me, but he does all right.
Race number 7 begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We're back on the turf course. Of course, today the conditions are fast and firm. Another beautiful day here in Southern California. 1 mile on the turf. Maiden Claiming Fillies and Mirrors in for a $50,000 tag. A field of 7. 2 runners coming back off layoffs, 4 and 5. But you ride number 3, Angelica Bay, who's 3-1 on the morning line. One of those returning runners, number 4, Fire Band from the Brian Corner Barn, is slightly more favored at 5-2. Talk to us about Angelica Bay from the Doug O'Neill barn. Tom.
Well, she might be better going a mile and an eighth, but I was hoping at a flat mile you get a good pace, then that helps her out. But I just can't see a lot of fast pace in this race, so that could hurt us. But I think she's the best filly in the race. She can run with her, as far as the sheets are concerned, her numbers stand out. I just hope there's enough pace to go ahead and set it up for her. I think the 4 will be very tough. Antonio Fasu, who I think is a great rider, and he's going to start getting hot now. So, and plus Brian is a good trainer, and he put in for not to be claimed, which I think is a positive thing. So I definitely think it's between the 3 and 4, and it just matter how the pace sets up.
Tom, let's just talk about your job as a jockey agent for a moment before we take a look at race number 8. When you book a mount for your rider, you don't know what the pace scenario is going to be. You don't know a lot of the variables that we get to see as handicappers.
Yes.
how frustrating is or isn't that in terms of, pace makes the race that you just mentioned. You don't know if you're going to have the best thorograph number or the best sheet number. Like, you take your best shot at getting your jock on the best opportunity horse, but there's a lot of variables outside your control.
Yeah, and you can't really go into it too much like that, and the fact that it's gonna come out as it comes out, and you got to take race by race, day by day. And so I don't really let that worry me at all. If I'm going to bet, I look at it and stuff. But as far as, you just try to put them on the best horse. A lot of times you're riding for trainers. I mean, I've always ridden for trainers, not horses.
Michael McCarthy, Doug O'Neill, the list is endless.
If you ride for trainers, you're going to be on good horses sometimes, and sometimes you're not going to be on a good horse. But percentages are going to be in your favor. So I've done that since I've been an agent now. It's been 25 years. I didn't think I'd be a jockey agent, but that's what I've always done, and it's paid off.
How often do you and Michelle talk? In other words, do you talk on a nightly basis? Do you talk during the races? Do you talk once a week in terms of recapping the afternoon?
Well, since he doesn't speak really well English,
yeah,
I don't talk to him ever.
Don't you have a translator,
No,
like Shane the Brain or somebody
no,
like that?
I do. I have his son thing. I'll talk to Michelle in the morning. I'll talk to his son, and he'll talk to him about what he's worked, and we'll go through the horses. Then after the last race, I'll talk to him, and his English is getting really a lot better now. When he's back in Gulfstream, nobody speaks English. They all speak Spanish and stuff. But he understands trainers. He understands English. He can speak. He knows what he's doing when it comes to the language. But usually I just talk to him after the last race, and we go through the horses he rode that day.
It's a balance, right? In other words, you don't want to be too critical of him. He doesn't want to be too critical of you.
I'm never going to be critical of him. Are you kidding? He's my boss. You don't get to be critical.
You got to be critical once in a while.
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Vince Gregory's done that, and he had all the best riders in the world, but he never lost any because of the way his job was. It was because he was critical of some of his riders.
And he had riders like Angel Cordero, Bill Shoemaker.
He was one of the best agents ever. I mean, his job performance with all these jockeys have been amazing, but sometimes he get himself in a little bit of trouble because he might say the wrong thing to him at the time.
Do you learn from other jockey agents?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, you watch when Scotty McClellan was here, Craig O'Brien, the people that have been here for a long time, they have a system, and it's pretty successful. So I think you're better off if you observe what they're doing and try to, mimic that. Yeah,
particularly the successful ones.
Exactly, yeah.
Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double. We're sprinting 6 furlongs of the main track. The late daily double also has a reduced 15% takeout. Calbred fillies and mares allow us optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 6 leaves us with a field of 8. The morning line favorite, number 7, Miss Practical from the Carla Gaines barn. Florent Giroux in the saddle, 2-1 on the morning line. You read Clubhouse Bride for trainer Andy Mathis. Andy Mathis, another very talented Northern California trainer. We were talking about Bill McLean. Mm-hmm. There's so many Northern California trainers that not only are here recently, but way in the past. Yeah. Steve Miotti, Jeff Bondi. That was a hotbed of successful trainers. Well, I know. Well, yeah. Well, that's, sometimes you got to make an exception. But you know what I'm trying to say. Andy fits in that category.
Yeah, no, 100%. You have people, Miotti, he worked for Mike Mitchell for a long time.
He sure did. He and Phil D'Amato.
Yeah, so he had a lot of experience behind him, and he does really good down here. But Andy Mathis is another one from up north. Very talented trainer. If you see his numbers and stuff, they're always pretty consistent. This is a horse I think had some trouble in the last few races. Not jockey's fault, just because the circumstances we're talking about before, luck. And I think if he has a clean trip, I think he can win this race today.
You also like number 9, kind of, toward the outside, Tom, Thirsty Trickster for trainer Jeff Mullins. He's had a fantastic meet. What'd you like about Thirsty Trickster?
Well, I think you got speed and you're on the outside, and that horse might be hard to catch. I think the horse will be on the lead. I think he'll be very tough in the race.
Have you and Michelle been down to San Luis Rey yet to ride in the mornings for any trainers that are based down there?
Yeah, we at the beginning and stuff, we went a few times for Peter Miller down there and worked some horses for him. So he's been down there, but it makes it tough driving down there in the mornings, and then you work horses and then driving back, and it kind of wastes your whole day. And sometimes you might be, you have one day off, a Tuesday. So then you go down on a Wednesday, and then you have to drive, and it just makes it kind of tough for him. And now now a lot of trainers are working more on Wednesdays than they were before. So it's kind of tough for us to go down there now.
Race number 9 closes out the day and closes out the week. Keep in mind, next weekend, Big Cap Weekend. That's right, Saturday, going to be a great day of racing here. We also are going to race on Friday. First post likely to be 12:30 p.m. Stay tuned for that. But in race number 9 to close out this week, we're traveling 1 mile on the turf course for starter optional claiming types. Race 9 also offers $1 Super High 5 wagering. 2 scratches in race number 9. Scratch to 3 and 4 leaves us with a field of 6. Morning line favorite number 5, Sneaking Candy from the Mike Pipey barn at 5-2. Mirko DeMuro in the saddle. You ride for Mark Ladd here, Tom. A runner coming off a long layoff. Number 2, Mysterious Husband. 4-1 on the morning line. Have you been on board? You might not know, but have you ridden this horse in the morning
No,
for trainer Mark
I
Ladd?
have worked this horse.
You do know about this one.
Yeah, and the thing is, he claimed that the day was for 62.5 or 50, and he claimed for 50, which makes him eligible. Then he was running a maiden allowances and running right there against all the best horses, and only missing by a little bit. Then finally broke his maiden last time by like a nose. So he's eligible for this race. I think it's a good spot for him, and he's very consistent. So I look for him to run big here. Mark's other horse, Call Me Sir, I think is just as tough. And again, they're both Mark Glatt's. And again, like I said before, Mark Glatt does a great job with his horses. Camara is a good jockey. He's right there in the standings. So I think it's going to be between the 2 and 8, both Glatts, and one of them wins. Glatt will be happy.
Tom, you do a great job with your jockeys, no matter who you represent. So continued success with Amici Jaramillo. You guys have done a fantastic job up to this point. Keep up the great work. Hopefully you'll be seen in the Kentucky Derby and onward and upward for 2026.
I love it. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Keep in mind, before we let you go, 2 wagers to consider throughout the course of the day, only because they pay so well. First of all, the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 with a reduced 15% takeout. Today's sequence begins with Gulfstream Park, race number 8, 12:53 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, the Sunset 6, the $1 minimum, linking the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park with the last 3 races at San Yded. And it always pays very well. Make sure you get involved with that wager, as well as any other wagers that you might consider throughout the rest of the day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great afternoon. Nothing but the best of luck. We'll see you on Friday. Big Cap Weekend coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Track is fast, turf is firm. Those track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. Here are the changes. Nothing new to report. In the first, early pick 5 begins. Rail is at 30 feet, no changes. Race 2, number 4, Fortunate Truth. The jockey Tyler Bays. Ricky Gonzalez won't be riding today. He's fine. Turning to the third, no changes. Race 4 starts the $2 pick 6, scratch 1, Glory Sunday. 6 grazing together is 3 pounds over. In the fifth, late pick 5 begins and all turf pick 3, no changes. Turning to the sixth, scratch 4, Ms. Hot and Cold. Note 6, Tupelo, the jockey Tiago Pereira. Late pick 4 starts with the 6, $3 late pick 3 kicks off with race 7. Just that blinker note. 8th race begins the late daily double. Scratch 6 back on track. And there is super high 5 wagering in the 9th. Scratch 3, Knight to King. Scratch 4 coming in a little hot. 3 and 4 out. 9th race, super high 5 wagering. We kick off our program in 27 minutes. And then at 12:53, the Coast to Coast pick 5 starts. It's offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with a low player-friendly 15% takeout, retail only. Have a wonderful afternoon. Race 1 in 26 minutes.